Chapter 8, Lecture number 3. We're going to start with hypertrophies of the skin. Hypertrophy is an abnormal growth of the skin. Many are benign or harmless. The first is a keratoma or a callus. It is an acquired, superficial, round, thickened patch of epidermis due to pressure or friction on hands and feet. If it grows inward, it's called a corn. A mole is a small brownish spot or blemish on the skin, ranging in color from pale tan to brown to a bluish black. Some are small and flat, resembling freckles. Others are raised and darker in color. Large, dark hairs often occur in moles. Any change in a mole requires medical attention. A skin tag is a small brown or flesh-covered outgrowth of the skin. They occur most frequently on the neck and chest. And a verruca, which is also known as a wart. It is a hypertrophy of the papillae and epidermis. It is caused by a virus and it is infectious. They can spread from one location to another, particularly along a scratch in the skin. A dermatologist can be helpful in removing and reducing the recurrence of warts. Skin cancer. Basal cell carcinoma is the most common and least severe skin cancer. It is characterized by light or pearly nodules, has a 90% survival rate with early diagnosis and treatment. Usually these are just removed. Squamous cell or squamous cell carcinoma is more serious than basal cell carcinoma. It is characterized by scaly red papules or nodules. It can spread to other parts of the body, and survival rates depend on what stage it's at diagnosis. Malignant melanoma is the least common but the most dangerous form of skin cancer. They have black or dark brown patches on the skin that may appear uneven in texture, jagged or raised. It is 100% fatal if left untreated. Early detection and treatment can result in a 94% 5-year survival rate, but that drops drastically once it reaches the local lymph nodes. Your clients, you should advise them to regularly see a dermatologist for checkups of the skin, especially if any changes in coloration, size, or shape of a mole are detected. Sometimes they don't notice these things. They don't see them. I had a client that comes in on a fairly regular basis, about every 10 days or so, and just over one 10-day span, there was a growth on her head, and it just looked like a mole or something, but she has had skin cancer in the past. And so I told her about it, and she did go to the doctor, and it was cancer, and it was actually almost 2 inches into her skull. So make sure that you are, at least give them that option. Let them know that it's there, because sometimes they can't see that, or they can't feel it. Make sure that they are doing home self-exams. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Early detection, we do have a unique role because we do see them fairly regularly, and we can let them know, hey, maybe you need to have someone see this. The Abcde cancer checklist. A stands for asymmetry, uneven. B is border. C is color. D is diameter. And E is evolving. Acne and problem skin. Acne is both a skin disorder and an aesthetic problem. It's a major concern to anyone who suffers from it. Frequently misunderstood to be a teenage skin disorder, it can affect people at almost any age. Women often do not have acne problems until they reach their 20s or 30s or even later. A predisposition to acne is based on heredity and hormones. So, retention hyperkeratosis is the hereditary tendency for acne-prone skin to retain dead cells in the follicle, forming an obstruction that clogs the follicle and exacerbates inflammatory acne lesions such as papules and pustules. Propionibacterium acnes. They are anaerobic, which means that they cannot survive in the presence of oxygen. These are under the skin. When the follicles are obstructed, oxygen can't get into the bottom of the follicles, right? So the acne bacteria multiplies like crazy, Causes inflammation and swelling in the follicle and eventually will rupture the follicle wall. An acne papule is an inflammatory acne lesion resulting from this wall rupture and an infusion of blood. A pustule forms from the papule when enough white blood cells accumulate to form pus, which is primarily composed of dead white blood cells. Treatment for acne. Minor forms of acne can be treated without medical referral with facials and things like that. Your cleansers. Make sure that you are educating your clients on what you're using or maybe some suggestions on what they should use. We've had classes in here. You know, we've had professionals come in and tell us this is the way it is. And you need to be spreading that knowledge to your clients. Cleansers, daily use of gentle cleansers formulated for a specific skin type. These foamy rinse-off products remove dirt, debris, and excess oil from the skin. There are a lot of different kinds of cleansers. Even just the facial wipes is better than doing nothing. And it says daily use, but you are going to want to do this twice a day, morning and evening. Follicle exfoliants. They remove cell buildup from the follicles. They allow oxygen to penetrate the follicles, killing the bacteria. A lot of times what's in these products are alpha hydroxy acids or a salicylic acid, benzoyl peroxide, and they're generally only used as a spot treatment. These are follicle exfoliants, not your basic exfoliant. Avoidance of fatty skincare and cosmetic products. Always make sure their makeup and their skincare products that they use on somebody that is prone to acne are non-comedogenic, which means that the product has been designed and proven not to clog the pores. And then always use a light moisturizer, always, always, always. Even people that have oily skin think they don't need a moisturizer, but they really, really do. And if it has SPF in it, all the better. Okay? It will reduce the risk of excess oil being produced. Okay? Aging skin issues. Every client over 30 years has become very paranoid about how their skin is aging, and we didn't all take very good care of our skin when we were younger. There are a couple of types of factors that influence aging of the skin. There are intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. Intrinsic factors are skin aging factors that we really don't have a whole lot of control over. Genetics and ethnicity, our predisposition to skin disorders, and our ability to tolerate sun exposure also was going to play a role. Gravity, the constant pulling downward on our skin and bodies, is a consistent factor for everybody. Facial expressions, the repeated movements of the face and result in the formation of expression lines such as crow's feet lines that form around the eyes, nasolabial folds that form from the corners of the nose to the corners of the mouth, and scowl lines that form between the eyes. So when your mom told you don't do that, your face will stick like that, she meant it. She wasn't lying. Extrinsic factors are primarily environmental factors that contribute to aging and appearance of aging. Many scientists and dermatologists believe that these extrinsic factors are responsible for up to 85% of skin aging. 85% of skin aging, extrinsic factors. Exposure to the sun, tanning, and sunbathing are very huge offenders in the prevention of aging and cancers of the skin. Should always be discouraged by skincare professionals. We like the way we look, but at what cost? Smoking. Smoking produces tremendous numbers of free radicals. These are unstable molecules that cause biochemical aging. Over time, these can have a devastating effect on the body, causing wrinkling and sagging of the skin, especially on the face and the neck. Overuse of alcoholic beverages. Alcohol use inhibits the body from repairing itself and interferes with proper nutrition distribution to the skin and body tissues. Smoking and drinking together, even worse. The constant dilation and contraction that occur on the tiny capillaries and blood vessels, as well as the constant deprivation of oxygen and water to the tissues, quickly make the skin appear lifeless and dull. Stress. Stress plays a significant role in our overall health and contributes to premature aging of all organs, including the skin. Research now confirms that the stress causes biochemical changes at the cellular level, and they can lead to the tissue damage that we call aging. Poor nutrition. You are what you eat. Poor nutrition deprives the skin of the proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals that are required to maintain, protect, and repair the skin, keeping it looking young and beautiful. Eating a well-balanced diet allows for all body systems to function at maximum performance and nourish the fragile tissues of the skin. Also, drink lots and lots of water. Exposure to pollution. I didn't write that one on the board. Exposure to pollution. Pollution also produces free radicals and interferes with proper oxygen consumption. It gets on your skin. You need to wash it off. Okay? There's not a whole lot you can do about it being exposed to pollution. Move into the country instead of in the city, things like that, you know, but that's not going to work for most of us. So just clean it off. The sun and its effects. Sorry, I jumped over to back to the other side there. The sun's ultraviolet rays have the greatest impact on how our skin ages. 80 to 85% of the symptoms of aging skin are caused by the accumulation of being in the sun all these years. As we age, the collagen and elastin fibers of the skin naturally weaken, and this weakening happens at a much faster rate when the skin is frequently exposed to a UV light without proper protection. UVA rays, also called aging rays, A for aging. They are deep penetrating, they weaken the collagen and elastin fibers, causing wrinkling and sagging of tissues. They can actually penetrate through a window. UVB rays, also called burning rays, B for burning, cause sunburn and tanning of the skin by affecting the melanocytes, which are the cells of the epidermis that produce melanin. They're not as deep as UVA, but they are equally damaging to the skin and eyes. They do, however, contribute to the body's synthesis of vitamin D. So you need a little sun, but you don't need a lot of sun. So, protection from the sun. Avoid deliberate exposure. Don't go do it on purpose. You need to have an SPF, sun protection factor, of at least 15 on a daily basis. Okay, use that sunscreen of at least SPF 15. Try not to be out between 10 and 3. I've kind of always done from 10 to 2 to try and stay out of the sun. But as peak hours, according to your book, is 10 and 3. Apply sunscreen liberally 30 minutes prior to exposure. Don't go out in the sun and then put it on. You need to put it on right away. If you're using a moisturizer with sunscreen in it, you've already got some, that's going to help you out a little bit. But you need to get that sunscreen on before you get out in the sun. After you've been swimming, after you sweat a lot, they are no longer allowed to say they are waterproof or sweat-proof. They are allowed to say that they are resistant, water resistant. Avoid having children in the sun that are under 6 months old. Wear a hat, protective clothing. There's actually clothing out now where you can, it has sun protection, SPF in it. So, yeah, just be very careful of the sun. It can really do some damage. All right, these last couple things I do not have on the notes, so, but it is in your book, so just look in your book. Should be pretty easy to do. I just didn't have room. Contact dermatitis. Contact dermatitis is an inflammation of the skin caused by having contact with certain chemicals or substances. Allergic contact dermatitis occurs when somebody develops an allergy to an ingredient or a chemical, usually caused by repeated skin contact with the chemical. Sensitization is an allergic reaction created by repeated exposure to a chemical or a substance. Irritant contact dermatitis. It happens when irritating substances temporarily damage the epidermis. It can enter the skin surface and cause possible inflammation. And you keep doing it, it can actually worsen. Protect yourself. Take time to keep your implements, tools, equipment, and surfaces clean and disinfected. Clean everything, but make sure your brush handles, your containers, your tabletops are clean. You don't want products spilled all over the place, dust and residue. We have a lot of dedusted lighteners now, but some of them still, when you open that bleach canister, it poofs out on you. Make sure that gets wiped off the table, because even just the powder can burn you and it can cause that contact dermatitis. Wear gloves, keep hands clean, and keep them moisturized. That is the end of Chapter 8.